Are you someone that just complains about getting pulled over by the cops? Well, have you ever considered that maybe it's because your 350Z has a 2-foot tall wing, a wide body kit, a straight pipe? Yeah, I thought not. Well, I do have a solution for you. Actually, I got my lucky number 7. These are the best modern sleepers that you can hide your true intentions from cops with ease without sacrificing horsepower. First up is the Audi S8. I love my job because I get to talk about a V10 powered luxury sedan that nobody ever suspects. You've probably seen an Audi S8 before, but did you know that for a brief, glorious moment, Audi stuffed a freaking Lamborghini engine into this thing? Yeah, meet the D3 Audi S8, a car that looks like an ordinary executive sedan, but is secretly packing a 5.2 liter V10 under the hood, the same one from a Lamborghini Gallardo. But instead of screaming through the streets like a supercar, it just quietly sits there in traffic, waiting and waiting for someone to run. Now, in stock form, that V10 makes 450 horses and 398 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, it doesn't sound crazy by today's standards, but here's the thing. The S8 has quattro all-wheel drive, meaning it can launch like a bat out of hell and grip through the corners like a sports car. 0 to 60, 4.9 seconds, stock. And that's in a car that weighs as much as a small moon. And let's not forget, this was Audi at peak gangster movie status. If you've ever seen the movie Ronin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The S8 was the car of choice for people who wanted to go very, very fast, very discreetly. It's got the presence of an armored bank vault and the heart of an Italian supercar, a truly dangerous combination. And it's on the list because, well, nobody suspects a thing. It just looks like an old school businessman's ride. People just think it's some slow, boring executive car until you drop a gear and they hear that glorious V10 wailing through the streets. And if you throw on a tune, oh boy, these things wake up big time with a proper exhaust and ECU flash, easily pushing 600 plus horses, all while looking like an Audi from a law firm's parking lot. If you've ever seen one of these at a stoplight, be very, very careful. And if you want to see one in your driveway or your garage, we'll use the link in the pinned first comment via Auto Tempest, where you can find all these cars for cheap. Next, if you saw this car in a parking lot, you wouldn't even notice it. The Chevy SS looks like that ordinary four-door sedan with styling that like a Chevy Cruise rental car would get at an airport. But here's what you don't see. This thing is actually a rebadged Holden Commodore from Australia. Yeah, you know, down under. And the Australians, they don't mess around when it comes to building fast sedans. Pop the hood and you're gonna find a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter LS3 V8. Same engine that you find in the C6 Corvette. This thing makes 415 horses from the factory and it's gonna rip you to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. And if you were lucky enough to get one with an optional manual transmission, you were basically driving a Corvette disguised as a family car. The best part though, nobody expects this thing to be quick. Mustang owners, Camaro drivers, even guys in Chargers, none of them see it coming. And that's what makes it such a perfect sleeper. It looks like something your boss would drive, but it's actually a full-blown muscle sedan. And it's not just straight line speed. This car has one of the sweetest chassis known to man. Seriously, they drive like a dream, but unfortunately, Chevy only made these for a few years before killing it off, which means finding one is hard. Plus, they are getting more expensive because of how desirable that they are. If you find one and can swing it though, hit a home run. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you ever slow down when you see a Ford Taurus behind you, thinking it might be a cop? Yeah, you and everybody else on the road. That's part of what makes this car such a great sleeper. Most people see it and assume it's either a police cruiser, an Uber, or some dad's boring commuter car. That's where they are very wrong. Underneath that totally ordinary body is a twin-turbo 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 that cranks out 365 horses. That's the same engine tech that powers modern Ford performance models. And because it hooks up so well to the street, the Taurus Show can hook off the line like a champ, hitting 60 miles per in just 5.2 seconds. That's not just quick for a big sedan, it's fast enough to take on cars that actually look fast, like an FRS. And if you're the kind of person who enjoys trolling people on the highway, this car is absolutely perfect. Nothing clears out that left lane faster than a Taurus Show just creeping up behind someone, even if it's just some guy on his way to get groceries. But if someone underestimates this thing at a stoplight, let's just say they're in for a rude awakening. Plus, these things aren't very expensive, and since it's EcoBoost, they take tuning super well. So if you can have that stealth speed for cheap, you should buy one, the right one, the ideal one. All right. Be honest with me for a sec. When is the last time you saw a station wagon and just thought, yeah, that thing is stupid fast? Probably never. I know. That's what makes the Cadillac CTS-V wagon so insane. It looks like a normal family hauler, and it's a Cadillac, but it's secretly one of the most ridiculous performance cars ever made. This thing is powered by a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, making a mind-blowing 556 horsepower. That's the same engine found in the C6 Corvette ZR1, except here it's in a freaking wagon. And because Cadillac was feeling extra spicy, they even offered it with a 6-speed manual transmission. And similar to the Chevy SS, this thing is a legit driver's car. It's got to be one of the most underrated canyon carving machines out there, even with all its heft. For me personally, out of all the cars on this list, this might be the most ideal. A Corvette-powered wagon? I mean, that's the definition of a perfect sleeper. And if you ever find one for sale, buy it, because they're only getting rarer. And trust me, they're worth every single penny. Up next is a Lexus, which if you knew or you didn't know, Lexus stands for Luxury Export in the USA. And no, it's not an LFA. That thing is way too noticeable. May I introduce the GSF, a car that will absolutely humiliate you before you ever realize what's happening. See, Lexus is usually all about comfort and reliability, but every once in a while, they go completely insane and build something like this. The GSF is hiding a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 under the hood. It sounds incredible, cranking out 467 horses and 389 foot-pounds of torque. It goes 0 to 60 in 4.4. Not mind-blowing, but definitely fast enough for unsuspecting sports cars. And the best part, it looks so unassuming. No crazy wings, no massive vents, just a clean, sophisticated sedan with a subtle F badge that most people won't even notice. Oh yeah, it's there. Plus, it's a Lexus, which means it's not gonna randomly explode like certain German rivals. 5. And if you ever get bored of scaring people at stoplights, you can just relax and enjoy one of the nicest interiors ever put in a performance sedan. It's the perfect blend of comfort and chaos and just happens to be capable of handing out L's to much flashier machinery. So yeah, you can sleep on the GSF, just don't act surprised when it gaps you in the most dignified way possible. You ever hear someone say, oh, it's just a Charger? Yeah, those are the same people who have no idea what they're dealing with. Most people see a Charger and think of a rental car, a cop car, or something their uncle drives. But the Hellcat is not your average four-door sedan. Under the hood sits an absolute monster of an engine, a 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8, said Hemi, that cranks out 707 horses. That's actually supercar territory, a top tier supercar territory. In fact, this thing is so absurdly powerful that it can hit 60 miles in just 3.6 seconds. That's quicker than a lot of Ferraris. The best part, it still looks like a normal Charger that your uncle drives. I mean, you just debadge the thing and you got something that looks like a V6 SXT trim. Now, car people, they're gonna know what a Hellcat is and they will hear it from a mile away. But to the average person, it just looks like any other Charger. Sure, it's got some aggressive styling, but at the end of the day, it's still a big four-door sedan with a back seat and a trunk big enough to fit all your groceries or extracurricular activities. It blends right in until it doesn't. And if you're dumb enough to race one of these, yeah, don't. You'll hear that supercharger whine for just a second before they leave you wondering what the hell you just did. All right, so we've covered some fast sedans and we've covered some ridiculous wagons, but now let's talk about an SUV that can embarrass actual supercars. This is the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. And if you don't know what this thing is capable of, you are about to find out. Just listen. This Jeep isn't powered by some old ordinary V6. Jeep took the same Hellcat engine from the Charger and stuffed it under the hood of a Grand Cherokee. That means this SUV is pushing 707 horses in a vehicle that most people just think is a grocery hauler. Because it's all-wheel drive, this thing hooks hard. Most SUVs are all about comfort and practicality, but the Trackhawk? It's about making sure nobody sees their loss coming. You could roll up to a race against a Mustang GT, a Camaro SS, or even a BMW M4, and they'd all laugh at you until you absolutely destroy them off the line. 0 to 60, 3.5. And that's in a 5,000 plus pound bank vault of a vehicle. And that is just the beauty of this thing. It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. You can take it to Costco, pick up the kids, and then go to Gapplebee's for dessert. Yes. Plus, just like basically every other vehicle on this list, these things are tunable as hell. Down in the South, 1,500 horsepower Trackhawks are not uncommon. So watch out down there, folks. You might get gapped by a Jeep sometime soon. If the Cadillac CTS-V wagon is America's idea of a fast family hauler, this is Germany's way over the top response. And of course, it's an AMG. So you already know this thing is gonna get stupid fast, even stock. Meet the Mercedes AMG E63S wagon, a car that looks like something a real estate agent would drive, but will absolutely annihilate anything foolish enough to challenge it. Under the hood, 4-liter twin turbocharged V8, producing a bonkers 603 horses and 627 foot-pounds of twist. It's more power than a Lamborghini Huracan, and in a car that can carry all your groceries and a couple of Labradors. And thanks to its 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system, this thing hooks hard, ripping to 60 in 3.4 seconds in a freaking station wagon. And don't even get me started on the sound. AMGs have always been famous for their exhaust notes, but this thing is so deep, so menacing, and ready to rip your eardrums apart. And of course, it's a total sleeper. If you debadge this thing, it just looks like a regular E-Class sedan. People see it and think, oh, some soccer mom and good taste. Meanwhile, you're sitting behind the wheel of something that has over 600 horsepower and it looks like a saloon. So if you want a vehicle that can go almost 190 miles per hour, carry all your junk and still fly under the radar, look no further. So what do you think? Which is the ideal sleeper? And which one can you snag for cheap via Auto Tempest in the pinned first comment? Let us know. I want to hang out in the comment section and see what you guys are up to. Also, if you enjoyed this vid, hit like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Check out these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad. This is Ideal. We'll catch you next week, and promise you one thing. Keep living the ideal lifestyle.